I've never been one to shy away from hard work, and honestly, I enjoy the whole manual side of lawn care. I think that push reel mowers and pump sprayers are just a part of life, and I didn't really realize until after making this spray video how many people just thought less of me, and the looks and the comments I began to get just really started to wear on me. So it was just one morning when it hit me.
Get with the times, man.
So many thoughts ran through my head in that moment. I mean, New York Times? Do I even have a newspaper subscription? That guy looked really familiar. And maybe it is time I get myself a nice battery-powered sprayer. So I compiled a list and started my research, just as any normal person would, reading reviews and checking things out, but I had a very specific list of items that I was looking for, and well, I've found it.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Okay, so here's what's going on. Yes, dramatic intro, kind of fun, but also very much true. I wanted to go ahead and get myself a battery-powered sprayer, and there were a lot of recommendations out there, and honestly, there's quite a few good ones. Really, the top two that came through were the My Four Sons and the Flow Zone. Those seem to be the ones that most people use, and they seem like excellent units. So I had a little bit of a different parameter when I was looking at this. I didn't want just a backpack sprayer. In fact, I've been kind of toying with the idea of having sort of an at-home, if you want to call it a spray rig or something, just because it's a little more fun. It's a little more, that's something I like to do, right? Coming from the spray side. So I took a look around to see what I could find in this sort of battery-powered arena, and I stumbled across something called the Petra HD5000. Now, this thing is not cheap. $500 is the best price I could find on it, and its capabilities are a little bit different. Let me get it, and I'll show you. So this is the unit right here. It's big.
Don't say anything.
It's pretty big. This whole thing here is detachable, and it is a backpack. It is 6.5 gallons. If you were to fill it up and carry it around, you're going to be pushing 70 pounds probably. It's kind of over the top, but that's probably why they decided to go with this nice rolling rack setup that they've got here. So 20 volt battery, 8 hours of spraying, roughly 200 gallons is what it says it'll put out. So I did some spraying with it yesterday, went around just with water, kind of doing things around, checking the different attachments, and just getting an idea of how the thing worked, kind of trying to get the timing. It looks like it puts out about 0.8 gallons per minute, so that becomes pretty predictable as far as how it's going to spray. But honestly, this reel setup was what attracted this sprayer to me the most. Let's look at just these couple of things, and then, why I went with this. So, standard sprayer wand, anything that you would probably expect. It's got an extension on it, which is kind of cool. Gets to those hard to reach places. Woo. A lot of different tips that you can change these things out. They all pop in and out pretty simply. No big deal there. Coming around here on the back, I've attached it with this sort of miniature kind of JD9 sort of knockoff. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it's a pro spraying gun, but really that thing does like 600 PSI. This thing probably does like 80. Well, I know, in fact, it does 80 because this unit pumps 80 with an adjustable flow on the side, so that's cool. But looking at kind of the other tips, shower head, gotta have that. You've got different spray patterns, tips for straight. You've got a wide fan. You've got all these little things, mounts and racks and whatever else you need. So again, what really attracted me to this thing was having the cart and having something that I could set up stationary and just run the reel out and go spray if I needed to. And I could put any of the attachments on here and knock stuff out, but this is particularly handy in trees and shooting from far back. I sprayed this thing about 25 feet yesterday, which was pretty cool. So I know that I can kind of trim it down and get a nice sort of fan spray, or I can squeeze hard and get this thing to shoot. Pretty impressive. So today, here's what I'm going to do. I haven't used this thing enough to really say I should recommend it. I just know that based on what I was looking for, this works well for me. It's something I can roll in and out of the shed really simply, fill up quick, leave stationary, run the reel if I want to, spray kind of like a very miniature and basic version of the old days. Okay, so today I'm actually going to just go ahead and test it out. I'm going to run RGS on my lawn and on Danny's lawn. Now, this thing's putting out 0.8 gallons per minute, so I'm going to spray with that at a per thousand rate of 0.8. I want to put in 6 ounces of RGS per thousand. Between the two of us, we have about 5,000 square feet. So I'm going to put in 30 ounces of RGS, and I'm going to put in what? 0.8 times 5, 4 gallons, I guess. 4 gallons of water is going to go in there too. So that's actually pretty manageable. I know most people are running like those 4.5 gallon backpack sprayers, and that's something that can be done. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing filled up, mixed, ready, and just give it a real test run without just watering it. Seems like it should be pretty dang easy. Quick connects. I don't know why nobody just does quick connects on everything. It's so much simpler, you know what I'm saying? Not for the faint of heart. This thing's got some meats on it. See if I can figure out how to turn it on. I haven't gotten that far yet. I bet there's a switch somewhere right about here. Ooh, did you hear that? Did ya? What? We're spraying now. Here we go. This thing really puts out. Pretty sure that was Alan's nickname in college. Well, I think maybe you noticed this already, but I ended up extending the hose. This is kind of nice for tall guys. They get the wand out there a little bit further, and it's, I don't know, I guess maybe I can kind of see why people like doing this. It's not so bad. Initial thoughts. It's spraying pretty much spot on. I might have gone a tiny bit heavy just because I'm getting used to the walking pace, but not enough to be really any sort of problem. So let's go ahead and knock out this beauty also and see how we wrap up on it. That's done. I thought I was doing pretty good there, but I still have some stuff to learn with this thing. That, I came up short by about, I don't know, maybe 100 square feet. I just missed the tiny little spot right down on the front. So that's not too bad. That little extra I put on my own lawn was enough to take it out of that. So I'll have to touch that back up. But I'm gonna roll back up to the top, throw some 402 in this thing, and we'll shoot some trees with that little tree gun. See kind of how that whole thing goes. Okay, so I've got maybe a little less than half a gallon of FloraGreene left, and I'm gonna put the whole thing in here. So this isn't necessarily going to be a super measured approach to spraying trees and shrubs. I'm just going to do something to just sort of show you how this thing works. So typically when you're using FloraGreene, you know what, screw it, I gotta measure it. I can't do it. I would love to just go pour and spray, but I'm not going to. I think, let's just see how much is in there. There you go, you happy now? So, it was less than half a gallon. What I've got in here now is about the equivalent of 7 ounces per gallon of water. And typically when you're spraying trees, you're gonna do about a half an ounce of FloraGreene per inch of caliper. Now, I've got a wide variety of trees in the back here, so I'm gonna go through and be spraying these to the point of runoff, and just go through the whole thing with my hose reel and let this thing sit down remotely and see how that whole thing goes. Right, yeah. I am digging the hose reel. That's fun. It makes short work of all of this stuff, knocking these down. So I still have maybe about 2.5 gallons, enough to go out front. And actually, I still have all of these down the side. And I don't have to move this thing. It can sit right here. I got plenty of hose, 100 feet of hose on this thing. So I'm gonna go knock all those out, try to get to the bottom of this tank, and then, I don't know, let's talk about it a little more and try to decide if it's worth the money. I think that's the big question here. All right, so while I get the rest of this buttoned up, get that thing cleaned out, enjoy the last and final word from our sponsor. And now a word from our sponsor, Rikers Island Family Chemical Prison Riot Group Conglomerate Municipal Waste and Pancake House.
With so many different choices on the fertilizer market today, it's hard to know where to begin. And honestly, with the current state of economy and the way things are, wouldn't it be so much better if there was an at-home, do-it-yourself fertilizer kit? Well, you're in luck. From the folks that brought you Rusted Rake, Real Brake, and Pile of Hose, comes an absolute breakthrough in home lawn care. New, do-it-yourself, at-home fertilizer making kit. Do-it-yourself contains everything you need. A strainer, a catch bin, a mixing bowl, our proprietary granulating formula. It's never been more simple to give your lawn the same nutrition you give yourself. Simply take yourself in to do some business, save your creation, bring it on out to the kitchen, and get to mixing. It's an activity the whole family can enjoy. Once everything has hit that crumbly and pelletized consistency, go ahead and throw it in the oven for an hour. What's cooking, says Timmy. Brownies in the oven, my friend. It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Then just get out there and spread it around, and you'll be saying to yourself, I don't remember eating that. So when you're ready to save money, do more at home, and put that poo to good use, you need do-it-yourself, at-home fertilizer making kit from Rikers Island. Your ass makes the greenest grass.
Good. That was the last and final commercial from Rikers. Probably a good thing. Apparently there was a note sent from the PR that the workers were having a riot and it was misconstrued. It was an actual riot. Not they were having a good time. Okay, so final thoughts. I think this thing is pretty cool. The extras you get over like a Flow Zone or my Four Sons, mainly that's just the cart, maybe the extra volume. It is a lot of weight. I think that if anybody's buying a backpack sprayer that's 6.5 gallons, get ready to work. The rolling cart, where I see a lot of value in this is with that 100-foot of hose. It sprays consistently. It measures out really well. It's actually very surprising. Small pest control company, small pest and lawn company. It's something you can toss into the back of the truck and reel off of. I think if you've got a bigger yard and you do want to try to do like a hose reel type setup, that's something that could work. You can manipulate the wand to the hose. That's no big deal. And it's pretty cool. So my plan for it is I'm going to stick it right under a hose bib up top here when I'm using it. It'll live in the shed the rest of the time. I'm going to try doing the backpack spray thing. Look, I have nothing against the orthos. I don't really have anything against doing it this way. Personally, I like to put out a little more volume of water with everything. But for this application in particular, the trees, even like watering my flowers and stuff like that, it's kind of cool. I think the kids actually will get a kick out of it. So here's the thing. This thing's like $500. It's expensive. And so I think the long-term test here is how well is it going to hold up? Are these parts going to hold up? Is the motor going to hold up? Because that is a big investment. It's a small spray rig. So I think if you're looking, and I'm not doing a comparison to anything else right here. Now I've got this thing, and I'm going to run it until it doesn't run anymore. And that'll pretty much be the end of the story. So be watching it. I'll just be updating on the rest of the time how it holds up, if I have any problems with it or whatever. I don't know if anybody needs to rush out and buy one, but it can be a consideration for you if you're thinking about it. Go ahead and throw up any questions, comments. There is a link to this if you want to check it out, both to the manufacturer's website and where you can get it. And see if something like this makes sense for you. We'll find out. I'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.